Can I see your questions?
Yep.
Yes, that. I know that. Fun.
Good.
Love it. How do I sound? Do I sound okay? Loud enough?
Okay.
Let me be serious. Okay.
It's the Stacy and Ramon. Good morning, everybody.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thanks for sitting down.
It is my pleasure to be here. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
How would you describe the way you manage your calendar?
Oof, my calendar manages me. But the fact is, I don't do it by myself. So I do work with my admin, my chief of staff, so this is someone who kind of works directly with me, and believe it or not, my communications person. And the four of us meet weekly to review what's happening over the course of the next month. And so we'll talk about that stuff in advance, and I'm looking at events 2 and 3 weeks down the line so that I can be my best self when I'm there. Other than that, you can imagine what the day-to-day looks like. You know, you get an early start, you grab some caffeine to get you going, you look at the meetings that you have on your calendar. I try to be present in each meeting that I'm in.
What % of the time do you have to rearrange meetings, do you think?
Not very often. And here's why.
No, you're supposed to say all the time.
Here's why. Back to that very first meeting where the four of us are sitting down looking at the calendar a month in advance. Now things pop up.
Right.
But the stuff that we know that's going to be there, board meetings within Nationwide, leadership meetings with my boss and our team, my leadership meetings, all of those hit the calendar first. And then outside board meetings, so if I'm volunteering for something, those things hit the calendar. And then you kind of fill in around that one-on-ones with the direct team, mentoring opportunities. I want to talk to our new associates. I want to be able to do this type of event and show up in these places. All of those kind of fill the calendar. And so it works out. I try to not reschedule too often.
That's incredibly admirable.
But it does happen.
It happens.
It happens.
Do you put buffers on the sides of meetings in case they run long?
I do. And so shout out to the best admin in the world. If it's crazy back to back, she'll set up what we call sanity time. So this could be a half an hour, it could be an hour, unscheduled. It's blocked so people don't know exactly what's happening there. I'm telling all of my secrets right now, so this is going to get me in trouble.
No. And during that sanity time, what do you do?
I'll return a phone call or two. I can check my email. You know, we all have friends and families and group chats that we're getting text about that, I mean, you can do all of those things.
Do you ever say no to a meeting? And if so, like, what's the decision tree to no?
Have you been talking to my admin? So again, I told you it's taken me a long time to figure this out. I hate saying no, especially to one-on-one meetings. Let's say someone reaches out for a half an hour one-on-one. It's going to be very difficult for me to say no to that. My default is yes. My admin will say, Ramon, you're too nice. You have to say no. Those two little letters, N-O, she keeps pushing that. And what ends up happening is I'll take the meeting, but it'll be in 2 months or 3 months. And to the extent that I can make sure that I'm prioritizing what comes first, I can be more available for more people. But as I mentioned earlier, someone was there for me. It's a priority of mine to make sure that I'm there for others.
All right, so now we're gonna do a day in the life of Ramon Jones. What time does the alarm go off?
5:45.
Okay, and what's the first thing you do?
Hit snooze.
How many times do you hit?
Once. That's 8 minutes. And then I pop up. And so, yeah, I try to be up and going by 6. And that's so I can grab a cup of coffee, turn the TV on, maybe see what's happening on the local news. And then back to the whole teenager thing. I got to get those guys ready, get them up and running, or at least plant the seed that it's a school day. You got to get up and go somewhere. But I try to be on the road by 7, heading into the office. And then take a look at that calendar. Now, back to the best admin in the world. She typically does not start anything serious on my calendar before 8:30.
Okay.
So that gives me some ramp up time for that second cup of coffee, allow the caffeine to sink in. My team also knows if they need to do a drive-by, to stop by my office to chat about anything, I'm typically open between that 7:30, 8:30, 7:39, so come on by. And I encourage that.
When you're feeling tired or low on inspiration, how do you zhuzh your brain?
We all have those. We all have those moments. We're all human. And there's times when you just need to shut the door and work your way through that. Solutions other than coffee could be taking a meeting or interacting with my team. So I'm fortunate to work with some really bright, creative, fun people. And they happen to be on the 28th floor in our building. And so if I do a loop on 28, by the time I've made my way around, my energy level is back high again because they're doing some great work and they're fun and they're happy to see me and vice versa. And so that kind of stuff's fun. Outside of work, usually to clear the head, I'm going to try to get out and do a little bit of exercise. So I am no one's elite athlete, but I ran cross country in high school. I still run today. I'm fortunate to have knees that still work, so I can get a couple of miles in. My son and I did a fundraiser bike ride over the course of the summer, and so that forced me to get in shape in a different way. And so spending time with him before he heads off to college, 15, 20, 25 miles on a bike, very slowly, but you can cover a lot of ground. And so outside of work, that kind of stuff's been really important to be able to do. And I'm fortunate to have a good group of friends that I stay in touch with, and a pretty large family, as I mentioned. And so all of those little pieces of those help to keep me balanced.
What's your favorite thing to do with your friends?
Pro football, hands down.
I think the best thing about friends is who doesn't care what your job title is?
Can care less.
Like your kids and your friends.
Can care less, which is awesome to have that. I'm very fortunate that way.
It is.
Yeah.
Anything we haven't asked you about how you take care of your professional soul that you would want to share with other up-and-coming execs and execs?
Here's what's helped me, and you've gotten a dose of this over the last few hours. I'm fortunate in that I can be myself at work. And there was a time where, depending on the level of career or where I was located, I couldn't be myself. And I can feel the difference. If I'm working at trying to be something else plus do a good job, that's just a lot of added stress. And there's a reason I've been at Nationwide for years. And it's not a perfect company, but I've had a lot of good mentors that have appreciated me for what I bring to the table. And I've been able to be myself, and I've been encouraged to be myself and to develop myself, which now allows me to do that for others. And so I know what it took for me to do my best work in a kind of environment that I've done my best work in. And so if I can create that for others, we might actually get some really good work done. And so I strive to do that. And I have, so far, I've been lucky to surround myself with some really, really talented marketers and business people. And I'm always looking for more. You always want to make new friends and surround yourself with smart people, but I've been fortunate from that perspective.
It's so funny. You spend the first half of your career full of ambition, full of drive for yourself, and it's I don't know, I feel like it was one day I woke up and I'm like, it's not really about me anymore, and it's much more rewarding to have a team and see somebody that has amazing promise to sort of step into themselves.
Yeah. It feels great to come across that, to hire the right person for the right role. That feels awesome because we all know the benefit that's going to come from that. What I've also learned in my old age is that the drama going from there to here is mostly unnecessary. There's enough room for us all. And if you're good and if you're doing the right thing and if you're operating from a set of values, you'll be fine. I noticed earlier in my career the sense of competition within the company, not necessary. We're all trying to grow our market share. The competition's out there. They're not sitting across from you. And the sooner you realize that and learn that, the better.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
I agree.